Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our podcast. All two of you, which is just us rewatching the podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless there are more, then amazing. Love that.
I can make my roommate watch.
Yeah, there you go. I can make my
friend
girlfriend watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. We basically recorded an entire pilot episode, and we wanted to take some time to recontextualize a lot of that stuff because we didn't really dive as deep as we wanted to, and also just explain ourselves a little bit more, why we're making this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell you over here, because in the first one we literally go, hey, so, yeah, and we just start, and it's why are you talking? Tell people why you're here. We recorded a second episode, and it was so all over the place. We were let's just scrap the second one and make the first one a pilot.
Yeah.
So this is the official first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got high halfway through recording the first episode. The batteries weren't charged.
Sure.
It was just a whole disaster.
We were just hanging out, really. We just hung out for a day.
But anyways, so gonna start with some introductions and actually try and explain ourselves a little bit better, because last time we kind of just jumped right into it without actually any context. So that being said, I'm Gabby. I am 24, turning 25 in 12 days. Very exciting. I work in film in post-production, and my big three for my signs.
Yeah. No, sorry, I don't know why I laughed.
Because we literally just did this. Also, for context, we recorded this opening.
But my mic wasn't working.
And so we're doing it all over again.
It's okay, we only lost 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Kind of, 5.
It's great, but
fine.
Yeah. Anyways, my big three. I'm a Leo sun, an Aries moon, and a Sagittarius rising, which, very aggressive.
Speaks for itself.
Yeah. Thought I was a Capricorn rising, was not. Yeah.
Solid. I'm Maf. I use she, her pronouns.
Forgot it again.
Go for it.
I use she, they pronouns.
I'm also 24, but I just turned 24 a few months ago in May. And then I went on the first time we recorded this, I went on this little tangent about how my life turned upside down when I turned 24, but in a good way. So that's just the sweet and short version of it. And I'm a Taurus sun, Virgo moon, Leo rising, but my chart is half fire, half earth. That's Gus's feeder. Gus is Gabby's cat. Hopefully he wanders over here at some point and you'll see him, but he's just eating right now. And I work in events, but I studied psych, neuroscience, and queer theory, so we'll see what I do with that someday. But right now I work in events. Do you want to talk about why we made this? Or why we're attempting to make this desperately and failing desperately?
This all over the place podcast.
Yeah, seriously, with no name.
Yes.
I'll talk about what we were talking about on the phone last night, which is bitches are chronically online. We need you to go touch some grass. We recognize that this is also online, but it's online after we've touched grass. So it's I just feel some takes on the internet and the world on podcasts, whatever, are either very lukewarm or surface level, or I don't agree with them. So this is just, I guess, the antithesis of that, we're hoping.
I think we should also specify, especially within queer circles, because I think, I think this extends to, other opinions as well, too, and just other theories that exist on the internet, but specifically within queer circles, and there's, always discourse going on, and half the time it's just very lukewarm, very much people have lived on the internet and that is their take. And I got distracted by my cat.
No, I've been watching Gus half this entire time.
Yeah.
So I guess that also allows us to say we have also various perspectives of things we want to talk about as well, of being lesbians, having ADHD and mental health stuff, and being in your early 20s and figuring that out. I don't know, relationships, friendships, growing up, all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just all the shit that I think personally, even me, like, I listen to podcasts or I watch certain TikToks or I go to other people's, like, books or media, whatever, to be like, what are you doing? And, like, we're all doing the same thing, right? And, like, not necessarily doing all the exact same things, but, like, just to know that we're all going through the same things.
Yeah.
But not through, like, I don't know, like, an influencer's perspective. But I guess I say influencer not because there's anything wrong with being an influencer, but when you achieve a certain, like, level of, I think, like, fame, and maybe you're getting, like, a little money out of it, your life is looking different, like, you're living a different kind of lifestyle than I am, and I need to know that the other, like, 20-year-olds of the world are, whatever, dealing with the same shit that we are.
I also feel like it's not necessarily that we have, like, anything specifically that we have to add or that we feel like, personally for me, like, I don't know that, like, there's anything so unique or, like, different about my experience, but it's also just kind of nice to listen to other people talk sometimes and, like, listen, and I feel like it's nice for us to talk and share all of these opinions and ideas and whatnot, not necessarily because it's anything new, but because it's just nice to talk about, and I guess nice to know that there are, like, other people out there who think the same way or who have the same perspectives and ideas and all that jazz.
Yeah, let's riff, basically. Just shoot the shit, but, like, as a group. But our first segment, this is our, like, leading segment. We're gonna do this every time. What did you learn this week? What was your, like, lesson of the week / whatever? I guess it's been a couple weeks, so whatever you want.
Right, it's Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday.
What did I learn? You go first.
I don't know what the fuck I learned.
Yeah.
I guess oh, you know what? No, here. I learned that okay, this is, like, why mine are always randomly deep and yours is gonna be funny and it's so my randomly deep one was just kind of like, I feel like I have embraced that I am into silly people. Like, my type, like, I'm attracted to, like, silly people, and I feel like I always used to, like, go after people who were really, like, checked boxes, or they were, like, kind of serious and, like, mysterious and kind of, like, whatever, just like sexy in a corner doing their own thing, and you're like, ooh, who are you, like, what's your deal? Sure, maybe, like, to an extent, but I think more than that, I think I've just realized I like silly people. Like, I like people who are, like, a little weird. That was my lesson.
You say people.
Okay. Yeah, people. What's your lesson, Gabby? I don't start this podcast and put you on blast.
Okay. What did I learn? I don't know that this is something that I learned, like, new about myself. Like, I've known this is an issue that I've had with making, like, a lot of, this will come into play when we talk about ADHD and stuff, but I make a lot of really careless mistakes, especially at work, which is something that I've, like, tried so hard to work on, and I've just noticed it a lot more lately. And I'm, like, trying to actively, like, make systems for myself to prevent that from happening, because in, like, the last couple of weeks I've been wrapping up a show that I'm working on. I'm working on a TV show right now, and we basically have to do all of this administrative, all this organizational work to pass it on from editing to sound. And that requires, like, so many lists, and I've just basically been keeping, like, step-by-step to-do lists in my notes app, and, like, I have to check it off, and I have to make sure I've done every step. And it goes down to, like, make sure that the slate at the top of this cut is correct, and you've put the right episode number on, because the amount of times I've sent cuts out, like, like, stuff like that out with, like, episode 101 when it's episode 103 is actually ridiculous and embarrassing. And I have just started to make these extensive lists for myself so that I don't make those mistakes. I'm just trying to combat the ADHD brain.
No, that's really good.
So I think that's what I've learned this week. See, that was deep.
That was really good, yeah. Yeah. The last one, the OG one, was like, yours is really funny, and mine was like, trust your intuition.
Yeah.
Like, I was just gonna say, though, with the lists, I literally, my house is littered with Post-it notes everywhere, because I am only functional when I have 7 different lists going on in 7 different places in my house.
Yeah.
And, like, on my phone, and, like, whatever, fucking in my office, like,
yeah.
lists are a must-have.
Yeah.
How's it been going?
Good. I mean, I caught a mistake today. I literally sent out an episode with the wrong episode number, and I was like, fuck. But for the most part, I've been doing better, so I think that's good.
Okay, this part I'll show you. I wrote a bunch of things, but I don't really know which one we want to riff off of first. Actually, if I can just start with the shout out, because I don't know where she's gonna fit in anywhere. But I need you to run, not walk, to Claire Holt on TikTok, because everything this bitch says, I'm like, is everything that I either want to like say on my soapbox, but clearly I'm not saying it because I'm not making the video, or like she just says it better too. Yeah. Which is why I'm not even gonna attempt to rehash it, but it's essentially just like some of her. She's a lot of like style videos of just like how to dress. And, like, specifically dress a little bit more, like, mask, but also still have this, like, she has this, like, rich lesbian, you know, the vibe, like, the open collar shirts, whatever, like, the nice pants. She, like, tells people how to dress, but she also has these really good videos. Like, literally, I think it was today or yesterday, she posted one that was, like, when you are, like, how to know if a girl likes you, and, like, you guys have got to get past this, like, whatever. Like, you need to, like, start actually, like, thinking about the signs, or, like, if you're gonna, like, try to flirt with somebody, like, actually go flirt with them or whatever, you know? Like, I think she's very good at being like, let's regroup everyone and, like, do this right, because there are so many random, like, stereotypes or things that I think we've said lesbians do that's, like, not even, in my opinion, true. Of, like, whatever, you say, like, you're so pretty, back and forth 7 million times and nobody ever makes a move. So, make the move, you know what I mean? Like, we know this, and we always know that we get stuck in this, so just go for it. And I feel like she's really good at being like, guys, if we want to make traction anywhere, like, you have to start, like, thinking about these things, or, like, trying to, like, break out of your box a little bit, like, dress like this, do, like, she gives very concrete tips, which I love, because I'm an earth sign, and I just want somebody to be like, do something. I'm like an earth and fire. I'm like, literally just somebody act, somebody do anything. And it's what I love about her content, and I feel like she's so real, and I really appreciate that. So, shout out Claire. You are carrying all of lesbian TikTok on your back, personally, is what I think, but...
Can I see what Claire looks like?
Absolutely.
Yes, this is who I was thinking of.
Yeah. She just gives, like, solid advice, I think, and is not scared to, like, use her words. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. We're always, beating around the bush. And there are a lot of lesbians, I guess, who give advice on TikTok. I don't like any of them. I only like her. Like, but it's like, oh my god, get to the point. Or, like, they'll say something that's like, you're valid. I know I'm valid. I know she's valid. I know everybody's fucking valid, man. Come on, next step. Like, we're stuck in this preliminary, like, feel your feelings. We know. Yeah. We know. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to say. Tell me what to, like, you know? And I feel like this is the thing that, like, now, after having been out for 10 years, like, this is information I have built over a long period of time, but I love that she's just kind of, like, expediting the process, especially for the baby gays. Yeah. Like, one of them is you kind of just need confidence most of the time when you're, like, talking to girls, and because everyone's dying for someone to, like, mention that they're, like, attracted to them, or that they want to, like, take them out, or, like, they want to make something happen, and it's not just, like, the you're pretty, like, back and forth. Yeah. Anytime, seriously, like, in my experience, anytime I've even if, like, that person wasn't interested, they're so impressed when you're like, do you want to go out? Because nobody ever says, do you want to go out? They're just kind of like
waiting for somebody to get there first. Yeah.
And that's, like, 80% of it right there is just saying the words directly.
Yeah. We love you, Claire.
We really do. So if you want to ever be on the podcast, I'll give you airtime for anything. I don't know if we can pay you, but We don't have any money. But
We can make you, like, average dinners.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can do that. We can cook. If you're ever in Toronto, Ontario, for whatever reason. No, honestly, I take that back. Come. It's cool. It's fun. We can, like... I feel like if you're visiting, you can show somebody a good time in Toronto.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, I rescind that offer. I mean, extend the offer, rescind the statement, come to Toronto.
Yes.
We were on the phone last night, and I was talking about how, like, something that I wanted to mention that we kind of touched on the first episode, but I feel like we could dive way deeper into, is, like, ADHD and stress. And, like you were saying, things that you do for work that you feel the impact of, but you're doing it to kind of, like, I don't know, save face or, like, not have to explain that you have this, like, barrier. And you're trying to create your own systems to work around it. And absolutely, like, part of dealing with, like, ADHD and a lot of other mental health things are you come up with your own system so that other people don't have to, like, bear the weight of it as much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's, like, literally, like, the people who should know the most, I guess, or not maybe the most, but the people who
should be aware
the
issue
are the people that you work with, like your coworkers, your boss. Like, literally, I was thinking, like, if my bank knew I had ADHD, like, you know, I stay on top of my finances, but there's a lot that I don't, like, explore or, like, learn about or try because I'm like, I need this to be low responsibility because I can't, like...
Same. Or even keeping on top of bills for me, I'm so bad at. If they're not, like, taking the money out of my bank account, it's not coming out of my bank account until 3 weeks too late, and then the interest on that has skyrocketed, and now I'm paying, like, $85 for hydro when it was originally $50, you know? It's just... Same. I don't know. Yeah, I need it to be low responsibility because then I will actually remember it, or, you know, it's not huge stakes when I don't remember it. Yeah. And in general, like, I also just think that, like, people are like, you could go and tell your boss, your supervisor, you could, like, talk to these people in your life, but, like, how much of it, like, I don't know, how much of it is me being like, I have this problem and, like, maybe we need to, like, change some of these systems that we work in, but, like, to a certain extent, you can't request, like... I know.
You can't request, like, a 4-hour break in the middle of the day because your brain stopped working. Like, you know, it's just not feasible. So,
like, I get workarounds in school and stuff because you can ask for extended time to do a test or, I don't know, like, specific schooling. But, I mean, neither of us were diagnosed when we were in school, and now we're both working, and it's really hard to focus, and it definitely impacts my day-to-day life and my productivity and my ability to complete the job well and on time. And I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you did. No, I agree. And wait, one thing that you also said is, like, we didn't get diagnosed in school, and I think part of it was also because in school it's like you just have this deadline or whatever, but everything you do between point A and point Z is, like, up to you. And so I would literally not do shit until 48 hours before, and then just scramble to, like, write entire essays, memorize entire semesters, like, not even a term, like, an entire semester beginning to end of information. And, like, I would pull it off, but at what cost? This is the cost now that, like, I don't really know how to use different systems well, or, like, how to pace myself out over long term. I just know how to, like, crunch.
Well, that's interesting because I have, like, an interesting combo of ADHD and OCD.
That's true.
So I was never a huge procrastinator in school, but I also had intense compulsions and perfectionism issues and just, like, needing to have things on time. Otherwise, I felt like people my parents would be disappointed in me, and I could not let them down, you know? So I was usually on top of things. I was a straight A student, and I don't know, I feel like in elementary school, because there were deadlines and there were stakes, it was easier for me to stay on top of things. But the second I got into university and it was just me that I was, like, doing things for, it became so much harder to actually do things and keep on top of deadlines for things that I wasn't hyperfixating on, like my film classes or anything.
Totally,
you know?
yeah.
So I think the second it became just about me and my interests and my need to complete things, and there was no factor of disappointment or letting people down or that feeling, it became basically impossible after that. Yeah. So it was interesting.
That's true. I was also gonna say, I feel like in some ways, like, our ADHD is similar, but then in other ways it's like really different. Like we were talking about the cleanliness thing, or like the organization thing of like, I don't have OCD, but I clean and organize every day, like my life depends on it fully, just because it soothes my brain to like have only internal chaos and not like external chaos, or it's my way of trying to have some kind of like control over my life by being like, oh, I'm just like tidying this thing, but for you it's like it gets worse if your ADHD is worse because it's like harder to keep up with it and then harder to start.
Yeah, and then I get anxious with the amount of stuff that there is, and I just don't know where to start, so I just don't do it, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. I feel like less so now, I think, because people understand OCD a little bit better now, but you do still get people being like, oh, my OCD is acting up, or I'm so clean, or I need things to be in a perfect order, which obviously is a certain kind of OCD, but I think I have a very specific kind that people don't really talk about, in that it's mostly intrusive thought heavy based and like superstitious thoughts, where it's just like you get the worst thoughts thrown into your head all the time, and it's really hard to not believe them. And I went a long stretch of time believing those thoughts, and then when I was told, like when I started going to therapy, because I was obviously super anxious and not doing well, I mentioned these, and my therapist was like, you don't have to believe every thought you had. And that blew my mind. And it was also like, your brain works in a way where it is sending you these things because that is the opposite of how you feel. And that has helped me so much with intrusive thoughts. And I've been having like, I was doing really well for a stretch there where I was able to combat my usual intrusive thoughts, which were like a certain brand of fucked up. And then recently I've been having like a new version, and that scared me a little bit too, because I was like, oh, I've never had this thought before, it must be real. And then I was like, oh no, like this is just the OCD reworking itself into my brain, and you don't actually want to drive into the oncoming lane, you know? Like, I don't know. So it's interesting because it's so convincing and it's so believable, and I went on a whole tangent, but sorry, we were talking about ADHD and I started talking about OCD.
Makes sense. I mean, they're all like, they do different things between each other too, you know what I mean? Like one can feed into each other in like unique ways, and also juggling them all at once in different ways can be like, again, this is like a thing that you can't really tell your boss, but it's like,
I know.
There's people who you're working with like every day of your life, or like who are seeing you in not every single way, but like in a lot of different contexts that like, they don't need to know everything, but we do carry around like a whole lot of shit that we have to consider at all times, and people don't really remember that about other people because you're so in your own head all the time that you're not like, oh, this other person might have to deal with this shit, like, I don't know. And then that's why that, like, one TikTok, it's like, all emails, all work feels stupid in the grand scheme of, like, having to manage all these other, like, million things. Yeah. They're like, I don't give a fuck right now, like, what I have to do with this, like, nitpicky little thing, because I'm dealing with, like, so much other shit in my brain alone. Yeah. Let alone, I don't know.
Well, did you want to talk about ADHD and weed, like what you were saying last night?
I was gonna say, I guess for me, like, also, like, my ADHD comes from a big place of, like, avoidance behaviors, like, in that it's kind of like chicken or the egg, right? Like, does the ADHD fuel the avoidance behaviors, or do the avoidance behaviors cause ADHD? But I think it's actually, like, they're both working with each other in kind of, like, a cyclical way. And
or
so, yeah.
Or your avoidance behavior is a trauma response, and your ADHD is actually just something that exists alongside it, but makes it way worse.
It could be that too. And that's like the thing that I'm like, I don't know, like, when it comes in to like, no, actually, okay, let me actually say one thing of, this is going to be so all over the place, but I feel like sometimes my ADHD, in the sense that like I zone out or I don't focus, is because when I was younger, it was actually really helpful to zone out and not focus, right? Because I didn't, oh my god, why am I like literally dying?
Have some water.
There's none left.
Some of my water.
Thanks. It's fine, I'm good now. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like when I was younger, I actually, whatever, my parents fought a lot. Like, I also was just very, like, lost and confused sometimes because they didn't really keep me in the loop for a lot of things that, like, I felt like I should have been kept kind of in the loop. Obviously, at, like, a child level, like, not too much, but things that, like, I felt like I was just kind of piecing together what was happening all the time instead of somebody directly communicating to me what was going on. And also my parents fought a lot, so even just in terms of like being in a house with them and zoning out to like not let the stress of your parents fighting like get to you caused me like genuinely zoning out. Was like, I'm a professional zoner outer now. Like I can, it's not dissociating for me. I don't dissociate, or I don't know if I do or not, but to me it doesn't feel like dissociating. It just kind of feels like removing myself from the sights and sounds of that situation a little bit, right?
I think it's disassociating. Okay. Because I do both. I dissociate sometimes, but then it's usually when I'm feeling insecure or something. Sure. Or, I don't know, it could be anything, and I'll feel like I'm watching myself interact with people. And that's often, like, in very social situations. Right, yeah. Like, at Pride, I was dissociating a lot, and it was really difficult, and I felt like I was, like, I couldn't bring myself back to ground level, but disassociating, or at least, like, the ADHD definitely feels like, oh, I'm in a dangerous situation, or I'm in a situation that I don't want to be in, and my brain is shutting off right now because it needs to protect itself. Yes. Yeah. I think I felt a lot of that as well. And then, like, I'll even be able to, I catch myself sometimes, not only with my friends, but with other people sometimes. And sometimes my parents, like, I will, not like they're going to watch this, but I'll be able to carry full conversations with them without picking up on a single thing that they just said. I do that with my parents too. Right? Yeah. Like, I'll carry, like, I'm not really saying much. I'm kind of just saying a lot of, like, mm-hms, or, like, yeah, tell me more about that, or, like, whatever, or this, or the other thing. But I'm, like, I couldn't tell you a single thing that they said in the last 5 minutes. I know. Because I'm just so used to not listening, because very rarely do they say anything that great. Like, when I was, like, not even in a malicious way, just, like, it wasn't interesting, or it wasn't, like, my parents are very indirect communicators. Like, it's a lot of, like, beating around the bush. It's a lot of, like, guessing. It's a lot of euphemisms. Like, it's, like, not very clear and concise. And so most of the time I'm used to just being, like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. And that definitely has, like, as an adult, like, I zone out a lot, actually. Yeah. And my focus kind of goes in and out a lot. But I don't know, like, again, like, the chicken or the egg. Like, I don't know where this stuff, like, starts and stops and for what reason. Yeah. But going back to the fear and, like, avoidance behavior stuff, like, I think for me, a big thing, like, a big issue that I have with starting something is I feel like everything is very high stakes. I can't, like, ever get anything wrong. I need to, like, deliver perfectly. And yet, it'll, like, cause me to... I kind of lost the thought. Fear and avoidance behaviors. Like, okay. Start something. Oh, yeah. I can't start something because I feel like it's very high stakes. And I'm actually more motivated to engage with things that I feel are very low stakes or only personal interest because, like, who am I letting down? Me? Like, it's fine. But anytime I feel like I'm letting somebody else down, I get really, like, stuck and I can't engage because I'm like, even if I fuck up step number 1, we're doomed forever. And I also have a really hard time admitting to other people if I did something wrong because I feel like they're going to get mad or something. And so sometimes I just, like, won't do it at all to be like,
I didn't even start it, so how could I have done it wrong? But actually the problem is I didn't even start, and that is more of a disappointment to most people than doing the thing and getting it wrong. So weed has really helped me sometimes. Like, sometimes when I'm high, I feel like I'm able to emotionally engage with the things that I'm really scared of, and then I'm like, oh, that's not so bad. And then later, like the next day or whatever, when I'm sober, I remember being like, oh, that didn't feel too bad when I engaged with it. So I'm just going to trust that, like, maybe I can do this and it'll be okay. There's still some things that I'm not great with, even when I can engage with that feeling when I'm high or, like, otherwise. But it has helped a lot. Like, even in my relationships, like, dealing with, like, conflict sometimes, like, you know, I'll kind of go there emotionally. I'll be like, no, just start the conversation. Try to communicate what you're communicating. Worst comes to worst, you stumble, you figure it out, you get it right. And that has, like, I've actually seen that process improve for me. Or, yeah, trying things that I'm, like, scared of in terms of, like, going places or taking on opportunities or saying things or meeting people or whatever. I feel like I don't have as much of a fear avoidance because I engage with that feeling a little bit when I'm high, and I'm like, that's not too bad, and then I'm able to do it otherwise.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But you get paranoid sometimes, eh?
Yeah, I get, well...
Or not anymore.
I feel like weed is always an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
Especially, it's mostly focusing when I'm high.
Yeah.
It's
not meant for that, yeah. Seriously not meant for that,
yeah. But it's fine. It's, like, very relaxing. I like it way more than drinking. I would never drink again.
Me too.
And just get high, honestly.
Well, drinking also makes you fucking sad, dude. Like,
it makes you sad, and the next day you just feel like absolute garbage. Yeah. I'm getting old. Listen, I know 25 is not old, but I feel it when I'm hungover now, and I can't do it. It's not worth it anymore. And getting high, you can literally, like, smoke a joint and then not be high in 2 hours, and that is wonderful. Mm-hmm. I love
Go
that.
to bed like a baby.
Yeah. So anyways, I find it mostly very relaxing, and then sometimes it's not that I get paranoid, it's that the intrusive thoughts get really bad. But now that I'm in therapy and I know when to identify an intrusive thought, I've noticed I've also kind of been able to identify them while high, and while they're, like, extra scary when you're, like, feeling all free and loose and whatever.
Free and loose. Sure, Grandpa. Yeah. Fuck, you are getting old.
But, like...
Keep going. Free and loose. If we ever make merch, the first shirt we're making...
Free and loose.
Just Scabby doing this. I'm gonna write that down.
Oh my god.
Continue.
You write it down as if we don't have digital recording of it.
We will forget the digital record. You act like we're gonna...
No, you're right. Anyways, yeah, it can sometimes make the intrusive thoughts worse. I think because my mind is just so, like, I don't know. I get, like, a lot of intrusive thoughts related to certain things that have happened to me, like trauma-related things. And it's hard to not engage in those compulsions when I'm high because, I don't know, I don't really have, like, full cognitive function. So it's hard for me to convince myself that that's not real. Whereas, like, when I'm sober, if I have that thought, I can say no and I will shut down the compulsion before I start to, like, think of all the worst case scenarios and how I can save myself from that situation. But when I'm high, I don't necessarily have that ability, but I've been getting better. And it doesn't happen always, so I would still say it's worth it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you still do it, so I assume that you just... And that, like, another thing, too, I mean, while you were talking, I guess it just made me think of, like, sometimes, like, it could go either way, right? Of, like, it gets really bad and that actually scares you and it's, like, not a good experience. But other times, I feel like it also... at least for me, like, reminds me that I'm capable of, like, handling the bad moment and, like, I still get through it on the other side. Like, even if I have a bad trip or a bad high or something, which, like, doesn't happen as much anymore. I think it's only happened a couple times, but, like, even those couple times, I was able to be like, oh, I got myself through to the other side, and that did its own kind of thing for me. But I mean, not to say that it's like you feel the same way, but just
I don't know that I've ever felt that. But maybe that's a better way to look at it. I don't know.
I mean,
because the problem is I'll have thoughts, and then lost it.
it's funny that you lost it as you said, I'll have thoughts. Which ones? Are they there? No.
Knock knock. Anyone home? No.
The guinea pigs in the rain, the TikTok I sent you of the two, we'll link it. There's these two guinea pigs in the rain. They're just watching the rain, like blank stares. I was like, those are our brain cells combined. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, I'm done. I can't remember.
I'll say that one time that I had a really bad trip on shrooms, and literally only because I mixed shit. Like, I just shouldn't have, but I smoked a little bit of a J just to, like, come down from the shroom high, but I smoked too much of it. If you smoke a little bit of it, it's good because it'll actually, like, bring you down lightly, but, like, otherwise it's, like, I've lost my mind, dude. I felt like I was high for the first time in my entire life because I was, like, this is, like, here. Like, all other highs have been, like, here, and this one is, like, through the roof. And it was essentially just me sitting in a room being, like, and I was with my friends, my, like, childhood friends, like, people who I love and know love me and have always been around me, but I remember being, like, oh my god, everybody in this room, I think, hates me. Like, do they like me? Like, I wonder if they hate me. And something they tell you about shrooms where you take it is, like, it's very, like, it'll give you insight on something that's kind of, like, hidden beneath the surface that you usually wouldn't engage with in a way that's, like, more intense than weed, because weed is still kind of, like, light to an extent. But this, like, shrooms are, like, proper, like, psychedelic. And so I feel like when that feeling came on, I remember being really scared and being like, this is the thing that's, like, hidden beneath the surface. Like, I don't feel this way, but actually I think I really did feel that way, because then now this year that I've been, like, really figuring some shit out and releasing it in, like, a way that I've never been able to release it so well in my life. I've been able to release it because I've been able to be like, this fear that I have is not rooted in any reality of these people around me. Like, they like me. I know they like me. I know they love me. I know that it's, like, all great. And it's just coming from this, like, other place of, like, whatever, fucking, I guess, everything's childhood, right? So it's, like, it's coming from this, like, deep-seated place. And I need to learn how to, like, relinquish this, because if I don't, then I'm attributing it to people in context where it doesn't actually exist. Like, it's not there. I don't truly believe that these people don't like me. It's just my default, like, insecurity or fear.
Your core belief.
My core fucking belief, dude. Yo, speaking of core beliefs, can I just...
Do you have a core belief list on your phone? I have that too.
Pull it up.
You're recording on my phone. Can I use it at the same time?
Yeah, you can use it at the same time.
Oh, perfect.
My core beliefs, man, I'd like to say, like, genuinely, I'm not kidding, like, I turned 24 and my life turned upside down. I think I have healed and relinquished so much in the last few months that, like, obviously it was a long time coming. It's not like I just woke up one day and it was, like, off my shoulders, but I think finally, like, once I had my little aha moment, it helped a lot. Okay, core beliefs. And I'll say that so this list used to be just the core beliefs, and then, oh my god. It used to be core beliefs. I just literally hit myself in the face with this pencil. I used to have it as just my core beliefs, and then when I had my little aha moment epiphany, that same night, literally 4:06 a.m., that same night, I went in and I wrote out everything that I was like, now I know better. And it was like, this whole thing is just everything I know better. But before, it used to be just bullet points. So, for example, one of the ones that I had was, other people can't be trusted. They can't even handle their own problems. How are they going to handle mine? And then off of it, I wrote, like, no, they can. They proved to you that they can. You've seen that they can. Like, you can handle other people, so why can't they handle theirs? And it was, like, all being able to, for the first time in my life, being like, I actually don't believe that anymore. And I was like, wow. Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. I don't know if I might read you.
You don't have to read them.
I can read them, but yeah, the next one is I am not enough, right? So unoriginal.
That's mine.
It's unoriginal. No,
I'm not good at anything.
Yeah, seriously, guys, we all feel fundamentally unlovable. Let's move past it. Like, it's everybody. And then so, I need to fill every other person's need to feel valuable. Like, I am offering some good. I will only really feel valuable when I'm meeting my own needs. And this is me, like, reframing it. I will only really feel valuable when I'm meeting my own needs because I am recognizing that I deserve to be fulfilled. If you are constantly taking away from yourself because you think you don't need as much as other people, you're telling yourself and other people that you're inherently less valuable, and that's not true. Like, do you mean 4:06 a.m.?
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
I have no one can take care of me. I've spent so long not needing anything that I don't even know what I need. I have some ideas about what I want. I don't know how to ask for anything because I don't know what someone else could do to make me feel cared for. I have ideas but no solid vision. And then I need to investigate this further. You know what I mean? Like, kind of being like, fine, I get it. Now let's figure out, like, what I want to ask for. Like, this is shit that, like, never in my life did I think that I would ever arrive at this point.
Yeah.
I'm a bad person who hurts other people and I don't deserve forgiveness. Like, do you know what I mean? Who? What? Like,
I literally, yeah, that's one of mine too.
And yeah,
I've got
like
one that I think I don't
ahead.
think you touched on. I can't be respected unless I'm achieving something. Like, I base my worth on my success, and if I'm not successful, I'm not lovable.
Yeah, that was
which I think ties into a lot of, like, my childhood and the perfectionism
yes.
issues and, like, all of the stuff that I had growing up. But that, I think, is a huge thing that, like, has definitely like, affected every decision that I've made. And if I'm being honest, probably is part of the reason why I'm as ambitious as I am. I mean, I do want things and I want to achieve them for myself, which has taken me a long time to get there, but I do think, like, a lot of it has just been because I need to feel successful to feel lovable. And I think I've, like, worked on that a lot over the years, and now I'm like, no, I want to make movies and I want to do these things, and I've come to a point where I'm like, if that doesn't happen, that's okay. Like, I will be okay, and you know, like, I'm gonna make a good life for myself. I have great friends. I have, like, a great partner who I love. I have a cat. I have a family who cares about me. Like, I have literally everything that I could ask for. And if I don't get that one thing, it's literally not the end of the world. So it's taken me a long time to get there.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And, like, these are things that I feel like, obviously, we didn't, like, roll out being like, we know this now. It's, like, literally 10 years, but
I know.
that's the beauty of it, that, like, it took years, sure, but we got there. And I feel like that is so hard sometimes when you're in the thick of it to be like, fuck, like, I'm never gonna get there. Like, it's always gonna be like this. I'm always gonna feel like this. But then, you know, sometimes on May 24th at 4:06 a.m., you wake up and you're like, I know the answer to everything. I literally was like, I see so clearly now. And I feel like that clarity is something that, like, obviously didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Or I guess it did on May 24th.
I think for you it happened very overnight. I think for me it was a little more gradual.
I think the epiphany was all in one night, literally, but it was only able to happen in one night because I had hit, like, a breaking point, and I had had so many conversations over the years at that point, and so many therapy sessions with so many therapists where I was like, it finally, everything they had all repeated 7 million times, I heard for the first time. Like, it's not like people weren't saying this. It's not like people weren't, like, explaining this to me. It's just that, like, I didn't hear it till I heard it. And I don't know what that was, but I mean, no, I do know what it was. I think it was, like, going through the breakup and just being like, fuck, why is, like, every single thing that I try to do, like, not hitting the mark? And being like, oh, because you're not thinking, you're just doing. Yeah. You know? And now I think. My big brain before I... Your big brain. But honestly, literally, ever since even just, like, that, even since May, like, I feel like it's made a big difference.
I've noticed a change,
right? Because I don't do things anymore so centered around, like, I need to always serve other people so that they'll love me. I'm like, they already do. They're here. They like you. They, you know, like, what else is there? Relinquish that fear a little bit. Like, take that off your shoulders. And now, what would you do if you didn't care about, like, people sticking around or, like, loving you or wanting to be around you? Like, what would you just do for yourself? And everything I've done so far, if anything, it's brought people closer to me. Because they're like, you're doing good. Yeah. Like, you're self-sufficient. Like, you don't need my approval or, like, anything. Even though I didn't really ask for it, I think maybe just, like, in a confidence kind of way, it shows more that, like, I don't really need anybody to, like, sign off on every single thing that I decide.
Yeah.
Anymore.
That's great.
Wow. Thanks, man. It is, guys. You hit 24 and your life changes.
23 is such a rough year. I cannot with 23.
23. Although,
you're like in an awkward, like, still in your early 20s, and
yeah,
I don't know. You're out of university, and obviously not everybody in their early 20s goes to university, but I don't know. You're in this in-between point where you're out of school, you're kind of working, but you're not really an adult. Not that I am at like 24.97, you know, but
97. Yeah. Quick math.
But like, I don't know. There's something about 23. Literally awful.
Yeah. I think what it is it's really just, it's the year after you graduate. And you really, I mean, for a lot of people, obviously not everyone also goes and does like the 4-year college, university, whatever. But for a lot of people, I think 23 is just that like in-betweener year. And it feels really weird to navigate at first. Yeah. With like finding like friends outside of school, figuring out your job, whatever, having like your own resources and identity and like, you know, I don't know. Yeah. It's just very pivotal, I think. It was like okay, but now being on the other side of it, I'm like, no, this was better. But I could have never gotten here if I didn't, like, if I wasn't her, I wouldn't be here. So I feel like it's obviously like everything is, you know. Yeah. But yeah.
Was it you that I was having the conversation with like a few weeks ago, I think, where it was like, if you were given like $10 million, would you, or like even more, whatever, it was you, would you relive your teens?
Oh.
And you said yes?
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I think I would. Only because I liked my teen years. I don't think like there were a lot of stressful things. There were a lot of hard things. I don't think I, like, today would ever choose to be my teen self. But if I just had to do it all over again and I still get to move forward, then I think it would be fine. I don't know.
I don't know.
Tell us more.
I'm not sure, like, any amount of money would make me want to go back to that. Just because, like...
I don't know if I would want to, but, like, if you give me money, I'd go. Yeah. You know.
I guess. Like... I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I, like, had so much growing to do and so much pain to go through, and that sounds so dramatic.
No, it's true. I mean, like,
I'm a triple fire sign. What
no, it's fair. Me, like, or it's being like, I can figure it out. I can figure it out. I'm resourceful, and I could figure it out. And if the worst comes to worst, I repress and I plow through. Like, come on. Seriously. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, I did not know I was queer. I did not know I was a lesbian. Like, it just took so long to get to this point. And I didn't, like, there's so much, like, mental health issues that I learned, like, way too late. And I would not want to go through that all over again. And I don't know.
What I would never go through, well, I mean, I guess I would if I'm signing up for the high school thing, is I would want to do university again.
Really?
Yeah. Which I guess I don't have a choice if I'm really... But no, if I could do 14 to 18... In this scenario, I do 14 to 18 and I skip back to 24. I do that. But I wouldn't want to redo my university years because I felt more that way about my university years. Like, I went through some shit. I was, like, definitely, like, two of the lowest points of my life. 2 years apart. Yeah. Like, it really was, like, where I picked up some serious shit along the way. And then, I mean, it was... not good, but like it informed what I'm able to like know now about myself. But oh my god, that shit was rough. Like,
I mean, I liked university. I would never want to redo first year, but second to fourth, fine.
Was first year just like terrible for everybody?
Oh my god,
I hated first year.
Absolutely awful.
First year was so bad.
Yeah,
for me, my first year and my third year were god awful. Fourth year was actually not great either.
So you had one good year.
I kind of did. Do you know why? Because in third year... Oh, was it second year? No, it was third year. In third year, I met one of my exes who was, like, actually was, like, the worst influence on me. Like, terrible influence. And, like, obviously I was involved in that, too. Like, it's, like, I technically had a choice to leave, but, like, I wouldn't have. Especially not with her personality. Her personality was very, like, I don't know, intense. Which, full circle, back to what I learned this week of being, like, I like silly people.
Yeah.
I don't like these intense people the way that I always thought, like, oh, you're sexy and mysterious and whatever. I think truly what, like, makes me crush on people, or what I think is, like, I admire in them, or, like, what I'm, like, attracted to is, like, this, like, offbeatness.
Yeah.
That I prefer more, because I find it, like, to me that signals a sense of, like, self-knowledge and, like, self-worth.
Yeah.
That I find very attractive.
Yes. Oh my god, can I show you this video, Fran?
Show it to me. It's the cutest thing I have ever seen. That's amazing.
But wait, there's more.
I love a good commitment also to the bit. Like,
I know.
you need to commit to the bit.
Yes, my heartburst. Now I know what likes the okay. Last day to watch, August 30. No.
She's watched it like 7 million times before.
What a tragedy, my heart.
That's so cute.
Oh.
See, that's the shit that I mean. It's just like,
I know.
I like when people are themselves. I like that in me. I like that in other people. I think that's the mature whatever epiphany.
Yes, I think
Be
that's
yourself.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
be yourself. Be with people who are themselves.
Yeah. It's so fucking annoying though, because like all the cliches, they're all true, but you don't really get it until you get it. You know, like whatever. Authenticity is the key to happiness.
Yeah.
Like money doesn't buy like, I mean, but that one's like there's a caveat there, but also like all these things that people always say, like it's better to be known than to be adored, right?
Yeah.
Like love is being understood. Like all these cliches that you're like, fuck off respectfully. Like I don't want to hear it. It's so cheesy. It's so lame, but like it's true.
Yeah.
And then it's extra stupid because you're like, you mean the shit I've been seeing on Hallmark cards my whole life is the key to my everything? Like, mental health, like, that's the answer? The shit I was reading in, like, inspirational
And
quotes
you were,
on,
like,
like, We Heart It in
rolling-
2012. Like, you got to
Live,
be
laugh, love.
kidding.
signs.
It's actually, though, live, laugh, love.
Live,
The
laugh,
way
love.
that resonates with me now is so aggravating that I actually want to scream, but I won't. But it's aggravating.
Yeah.
You're telling me be who you are is the key to everything? You're telling me...
Yeah,
Fuck.
and we say all of this, but like
Me
anybody
too.
who's listening who is like rolling their eyes.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
obviously,
I would too.
it's, you know, like at a certain point it's gonna click.
Yeah.
And like, but by all means, continue to roll your eyes. Because
Yeah.
this sounds just as stupid.
And what clicks for everybody is totally different. I think,
know.
like, for example, I hate this question that's like, if you were gonna, like, go back and tell your younger self something, what would you say? Nothing I would have said would have made that
I
bitch
know.
do anything different. Are you
know.
joking? Like, if anything, I would have, like, dug my heels more into the ground.
Oh my god, if I went
Like-
back and I told like, let's say 15-year-old me, like,
Yeah.
Gabby, you're a
Punch you in
lesbian.
the face.
I'd be like, what the fuck, no? And then I'd go to, like, simp over my Emma Watson pictures, you know? I'd be, like, go fighting
Yeah.
with, like, the other boys in the 10th grade, being like, who would marry Emma Watson, me or you? And I'd be like, me, obviously, because why the fuck would she want to be with you? And I'd be like, no, obviously I'm not a lesbian.
My favorite part about this particular story is you initiated this conversation. You marched up to these, like, unassuming boys just, like, minding their own business. You were like, hey, like, hey, yo, if you and me, like, the kid's like, I don't even fucking know who that, like, I don't care, like, and you're like, gun to your head. Like,
Yeah, well, because they would always be like, me, obviously. Emma Watson likes boys. And I was like,
Right.
okay, first of all, wrong. I have
God,
way much more of a
yeah.
personality than you do. So obviously she would go for me.
This is
Like,
also
the confidence.
in a nutshell, this is heterosexuality. Thinking that just because
you're a man, that, like, she'll go for you. Like, no, sorry, she doesn't want to go for your, like, crusty ass,
Yeah.
like,
that's literally how they operate in the world, though. I feel like a lot of men are just like, well, by numbers, I have to end up with somebody. There has to be a straight woman in the world who is at the end of her rope and who will go for me. They're literally just playing a numbers game, like just the odds.
Yeah.
And the way that it works, too, this is why I need women to start exploring their sexuality more. Because I'm like,
yeah,
you know,
honestly, and men,
and everybody across the board,
too.
Every single person, because operating just off of like, well, one day I'm just gonna like somebody's gonna come find me and we're just gonna get married because that's what everybody does.
Yeah,
doesn't even sound remotely fulfilling. Like, not even a little bit.
Yeah. And Kate, can we talk? So I don't know if you get these TikToks. I get these TikToks that are like Reddit posts that like an alien is like reading, or like the TikTok automated voice. Yeah. And so many of them are like, oh, I found out my husband of 7 years sent out an email to his like first love the night before we got married. And, like, was confessing his love for her and how he was so sorry he wasn't ready to marry her when she wanted to. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, the amount of men who can't get over the first person they were in love with. Like, I'm like, that is ridiculous to me. Like, do some self-reflection. Go to therapy. I don't know, take some fucking time and get over it. You screwed that one up, probably. And even if you didn't, I just find it kind of unbelievable how so many men are just so like fixated on their first love that they like completely fuck over other women and like new people in their lives. And to me, that's fucking astounding. I'm like, take a walk. Like,
seriously,
I don't know, do something to change that. Why are you pining over this relationship that's over? When you could take steps to heal and learn and grow from that experience. You know, I don't know, fucking wild to me.
As a seasoned vet of will not let go of first love also, I feel like this is so true.
Sorry.
No, I completely, no, well, I feel like now I'm like, in the 4 months of transformation that I've low-key kind of had, didn't have, I don't know, whatever. But, like, I feel like one of those things that you really need to, like, accept is just, like, you cannot keep getting into new relationships to distract yourself from the hard feeling you're not dealing with. Like, you actually, only way out is through, you actually have to engage with, like, the pain of the loss or, like, whatever you think it is. That will let you move past it. And this is, I get a lot of TikToks about people being like, your lesbian first love is gonna, like, emotionally wreck you. And it's like, if we all are saying this thing and we all agree with it, why would you want to be with a person who emotionally wrecked you? Like, or a situation, like, even it doesn't have to do with the person themselves. A lot of the times it can be, like, circumstance or whatever else. Like, sorry, this is going to distract me. Like, you... And it did distract me.
You were talking about lesbian first love.
Right. If it emotionally wrecks you, even if it's not the person, but it's, like, the situation... Why would you want to re-engage with, like, a person or a situation that emotionally wrecked you? And, yeah, for sure. I, again, been there, done that. I kept re-engaging because I think there's a sense of, like, comfort or nostalgia, or you only remember, like, all the nice little sweet parts and you're, like, romanticizing all the hard parts. But if it actually, to this day, is still causing you, like, emotional turmoil, dude... It's not it. Like, and that was one of those things that, like, I think as soon as I was like, love is not pain, actually, then I was able to, like, let go of it a little bit more. And I think I also had to have, like, a dramatic little moment. Like, that email, for example, whatever, that being, like, you need this dramatic moment, have that 10 years ago. Get it out of your system. So that by the time the night before your wedding comes, like...
You're not feeling that
done
way.
it. You've dealt with it. Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine proposing to someone, getting to the point where you're at the night before your wedding, and then, like, sending that email to your...
Yeah, it's too much.
...ex? Like, that is so disrespectful. And so, like, I don't understand how you could let yourself get to that point.
Also... Dare I say, the email doesn't even need to be sent. That's not the part you care about.
It's the feeling behind it.
You don't think in that moment. I have a really hard time believing that anyone thinks in that moment that, like, oh, we're going to, like, get back together. It's going to be beautiful. You don't believe that. You just want to, like, get that feeling out. But it's like, you don't need to get that feeling out in an email the night before your wedding. You can get that feeling out in a million other ways years before when
Yeah.
you're not in a relationship, so that by the time
Camera just died.
out, you're in a relationship, you're not pining over your first love. Like, once you get the feeling out, then it doesn't have to be like night before your wedding and you're getting all this shit out now. Just like get it out years before. And truly, one of the standards that like even I am holding myself to now is like, I really don't think I will let myself like get into any kind of serious committed relationship unless I feel like I've really gotten this shit like out of my system.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I feel like I kind of low-key have a lot, but whatever. Even if there's like a residual amount or like whatever I need to work through, like I refuse now to even rehash it. And you don't know what you don't know, but then once you know it, it's your responsibility to like deal with it.
Yeah. I think you said that really well.
Thank you. I really didn't know I had that in me. I was like, clearly that's been simmering in there for a hot minute.
Yeah.
But I feel it every time I see the videos that are like, you're never going to get over your first love. It's going to emotionally damage you. Like, yeah, it might. It could. It will for a lot of you. But remember that. And then also remember that, like, love is not pain.
Yeah. I should also mention we're continuing the podcast here on out without any video. So if you're watching this on YouTube, so sorry. Camera died. Nothing we can really do about that. And also it'll take like forever to charge. So we're just going to continue this as we have light and we're almost done anyway. So
can I
plowing through.
Also say, if you're watching this on YouTube and you made it this far, DM me right now. I'll send you a $25 gift card. Like, what the fuck? And thank you for being here.
DM Mafum, not me, because I won't send you a $25 gift card.
Don't do it. I mean, I'll only send it to one of you. I'm not gonna like, I don't got money like that, but DM it to me. I'll send the first person a single $25 gift card to any place of your choice.
Yeah.
Should we do Song of the Week?
Yeah, let's do Song of the Week.
Mine is the one that I sent you today.
Okay.
It's Moth by Dua Saleh, and they were in Sex Education. You probably saw them if you watched that show.
Oh my god, I totally know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And such a good song.
So good. MOTH, Dua Saleh. It's literally musical genius. Their brain is unmatched, and their artistry is incredible. So that's mine, and I'm gonna add it to playlist.
Right.
I think I did. Yeah. What's yours?
Mine this week would have to be like a song off of the Maggie Rogers album. Ooh, because I've been listening to that nonstop. I think I'm gonna have to go with like Horses, which was out before the album came out, and like I love the album. I think Be Cool is also a really good song, and like Begging for Rain is really good, but Horses, I don't know, it has like a hold on, I don't even like relate to it personally, but it's just like it's just such a good song. Like, it's so powerful. And to be honest, I've never been like a person that like fully invests in lyrics and stuff. I feel like I like the vibe more of songs, and like, I don't know, melodies and all that stuff, like I get into way more than, and Horses is just so good. So good.
That's actually so funny you say that, because when you played Horses for me, literally also heard it for the first time walking on the Chelsea fucking High Line. Like, it was a transcendental experience. Is that the word?
So good.
I transcended. Sure. But the lyric, I actually resonated with a lot, because it's literally like, what is it? Like, I see
horses running wild and free. I could feel like that for just a minute.
That to
would
me,
you come with me, or would you give something?
Oh.
Would you come with me, or would you give in?
Oh, okay. That part I don't know, but the basically just being like, I want to feel that free. I want to like relinquish this, like,
that part
fear and go
I really
that for me was major, to be like, fuck yeah, like seriously, like I feel like I'm in this part of my life where I'm like just letting go of some stupid fears, and I say stupid fears, whatever, all the disclaimers, no fear is like really stupid, but like it's my own, so I get to say it's stupid.
Yeah. But I think like, I mean, I think the song is specifically, like, Maggie wrote it specifically about, like, relinquishing those fears in regards to, like, her and maybe an ex or something. I don't know. Or current partner or something. But I feel like it can extend to friendships and literally everything. Like, are you going to, like, move forward with me in this? Yeah. And are we going to, like, I don't know, like overcome all of these things and like be our most authentic selves together, or am I just kind of have to do that by myself?
Whoa. Yeah, no, I'll claim horse girl identity just for the song.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
I know.
that's good.
Just for
the
that
one
song.
thing.
Yeah.
For a song. It's really good. The new album in general, very good.
Yeah, very good.
And I think that's the end of first official pod.
I think so too.
That was good.
That was good.
Yeah, look at, we're literally, we're such Leo placements. We're like looking at each other like, we're so good at this. We're
So
fucking
talented.
amazing. This is incredible.
Only
It's the
took
best
us
thing
like
that anyone's
3
ever
times
heard.
the try.
Yeah. Listen, that's why cliches, as we've established, are true. God,
Cliches
I
are
need to
cliches
start
for a
walking.
reason.
I seriously need to start walking through like the cheesy part of Home Sense and like all through Hallmark and just being like, this
Buy
is
the
therapy.
art.
Like, why am I paying $150? I need to buy 7 of these greeting cards.
Yeah.
And just put them up in my room till they click.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
So-
thanks for joining. See you next time. Any parting words?
I don't think so.
Okay, work.
I think I've said all my words of wisdom.
Wow. We did, truly. Okay. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.